see if they do it.
Okay, you ready? Alright, so our project was on stem cells, and before we go into the arguments and stuff, I'd like to give some history and the definition. They have the potential to be created into different cell types in the body, like during early life and growth. And then like it came from this researcher named Dr. James Thompson in 1998. Like he basically tested everything by people who donated embryos, and then he finally succeeded in isolating the cells of the early embryos and developed the embryonic cell lines. Alright. Their function, they serve as like an internal repair system, and it like they divide non-stop, and they refuel like cells in a person or an animal. And then when a stem cell separates, each new cell has a potential to either stay the same or to become like a different function in another organ, body, whatever, like the muscle or the red blood cells or the brain cell. Okay, characteristics. They're distinguished by first they are unspecialized, and they can renew themselves during cell division, and the second, they can be brought to become tissue or organ specific cells with special functions. That's the last thing. Okay, history. So after it was developed, there was a huge debate whether it should be allowed or banned. And President Bush in like 2000, 2001, he did ban it, but still people were arguing over should we use it or should we not? Like especially the religious people, like, you know, they're mostly like pro-life because embryonic, like using the embryo is basically like you could kill like an unborn baby before it's even born. And then others were thinking that no, we needed to find cures for certain diseases like Parkinson's because there's no cure for that. It's a pretty painful disease. Yeah, and so with that, recently President Obama, he did lift the ban, like the ban of the usage of the embryonic cells, and so it is still continuing now, but you know, it's kind of a debate that's been going on for a while. So
this is the work cited for that, all that.
yeah.
Is it right or wrong? This is the moral issues that we found with embryonic stem cells and using them to for testing and for treatments in the scientific community.
It's thorough.
So how can they be good? They offer a ton of possibilities, especially in the area of health and like in science of medicine and diseases, carry diseases and such. And the example that I put up was for diabetes, deficiency of insulin. If you take the embryonic, the stem cell, and you place it in the pancreas, and it can help in producing insulin that the body's not already producing, because it will basically just match the cells there and it will regenerate the area that is defective. And this has been a pretty big opportunity. Possibilities are endless for this, and a lot of the diseases that don't have cures, such as Parkinson's. And one of the biggest arguments for using them is that if they continue to use them, then they can do research on them and how to use them for curing all these diseases that have no cures at the moment. And but but since we're not allowed until recently, can't do any research if they're not allowed to use. And so now that they are being used, research, they can be, it opens up a lot of opportunities there. And, yeah, this cancer disease, but there are also a lot of side effects, or arguments against it.
So I talked about the cons and the moral issues with using embryonic stem cells. First, when using the stem cell, you must sacrifice, in ethics, you're sacrificing a child because it is a fertilized egg that will eventually grow to become a baby, and it is alive. So that is a child, in my point of view. Number two, it's not guaranteed to work every time. There are things that can go wrong. The embryo can be, or the stem cell can be rejected by the body, and the patient will or could die. And number three, many people, whether it works or not, view this as giving one innocent life for another. So they view it as sacrificing someone for somebody else, when the one person being sacrificed has no say in the matter. They have no voice to speak out for themselves with, and they feel like they have to be that voice for those innocent lives. And number four, the doctors could make mistakes. This is not, doctors are not perfect.
This is common.
If you go to the hospital, you'll find that out pretty simply. They could inject the wrong type of stem cell, they could make wrong conclusions, and they could end up killing the patient in less time than it would have taken had the disease just gone its course. In the very end of it, we all decided, we believe ethically and morally that using embryonic stem cells in medical testing or treatments is wrong. No matter how hard it may be, say no to the embryo. Okay, so does anybody have questions?
Maybe like a slow.
Yeah, it took me about half an hour to think about it.
I thought maybe your
With
friend would
embryo.
be better.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
Okay, let's have questions about the actual topic first. Any questions? In your research, did you find any of the debate centering in on people getting pregnant deliberately in order to produce embryonic stem cells?
Yes, that was somewhat a problem because they would have, the most effective stem cell is one of a sibling. And so they would, if they were an only child, the parents would donate the eggs and sperm and they would grow a child. And then they would use the stem cells
And
to
then
kill a child.
Right.
And they would do this in extreme cases. But, and another reason that we view this as wrong is because it may not be as easy to do, but you can use other stem cells. You can use the parent stem cells if they match. You can use, there are alternatives.
Yeah. When you were doing your research, did you find anything to do with stem lines? You remember?
Did that have something to do with like the waiting line for stem cells to get in?
No.
Was there something
There's
that I
a
read
lot of
about that?
legislation being passed at the moment in the last decade, because if the, say, CDC gets hold of a line of cells, like a stem cell, they can actually keep, remember when stem cells are very mitotic? They can keep separating and dividing those, studying them. Those cells actually belong to the CDC, not the individual that they got the stem cells from, even if they're adult stem cells. You can't ever get them back. So your stem cells are there, out there. And so there's a lot of debates about that because you're also going to be messing with genetics. So did you see anything in the black market about embryonic stem cells?
I found,
Finding stuff.
I found a few things, like of doctors who had retired and then have gone into the black market because back in the Bush administration, they were unable to do this embryonic stem cell research and such. They went to the black market,
Or went to countries that allowed it?
yeah, and then brought it here, and they really just hadn't come back to the medical field since then. They were just on the black market since then. But now that it's legal, there's less of it.
Right. It's legal within very strict parameters.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys think? Would you say no to the embryo?
Very lively group we have.
Okay, hand up if you would say no to the embryo. Okay, now put your hands down, close your eyes. Matea, imagine that you had a child, beloved child, with, say, that Tay-Sachs disease. Okay? Coming up to that 6 months, starting to lose everything. You love this child very, very much. Now put your hand up and tell me if you would not do anything to save that baby.
Everyone?
If, no, don't, not just Matea.
Oh,
Everybody, she was talking.
I thought you were just talking about Sam.
Put your hand up if you think you would do anything.
Do you do it? I say anything.
To save anything.
To save the child.
I would not do
I'm not
anything.
gonna go and try to kill somebody.
I can't feel like you're making a decision until you've been in that situation.
I know you can't, and that's the whole point, is you can't
But
judge people until
Well,
you've
if you
been in
say
that
doing
situation.
anything, I mean, no one's gonna say yes, because doing anything, killing everyone, killing your other children.
But like I said,
Like
like I
I
said,
mean, like,
there,
Anything is always the real.
but like I said, there are alternatives. You do not have to kill an innocent child.
So what are the alternatives?
The adults, they can have the stem cells drawn. You can have donors,
What do you mean by donors?
people who are matches that
Okay,
want to give it to help.
adult matches.
Yeah. And, or if they have older siblings, I mean, they
You
could,
wouldn't have to kill them, you just harvest their stem cells.
you wouldn't have to,
Uh,
you wouldn't have to kill them.
But it's
Okay.
probably not as effective.
Yeah, but.
It's not as effective,
A lot better.
but it's better than
Well, yeah.
killing an innocent life.
Yeah, and they're finding that the umbilical cord has, you can harvest quite a lot of stem cells from that. So they're doing this, they try to sell to you when you're in hospital, like a baby, would you like to freeze your umbilical cord? And the answer to that at the moment is no, because the technology is not advanced enough when the stem cells die. But in the future, when you guys are maybe at this stage, it might be something to look into. Because then, you remember that God provides everything that we need all around us. So if we need something like that, then He will provide it without us having to do something unbiblical like kill someone. Anything else that you want to ask them? Okay, a good comment about the Prezi.
Training.
It's really good.
It was too simple.
Was it too distracting? Was it too distracting?
I thought it was me.
It kept me engaged.
The brackets were a little distracting,
Okay.
but other than that.
Well, the tree.
Brackets?
Okay. I really liked it.
I take
liked the
credit.
way I liked it. I felt that, let's go to the slide on characteristics.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I had a really hard time reading. I think we had the same problem with our Prezi, but I did have a really hard time reading. all
Yeah,
those
so you've got to think of who your
things.
audience is and how you're going to present. Okay, give me 3 words instead of all those words. Like characteristics and then 3 words.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, unspecialized, like
Okay.
very new. Let's see. They can read, special functions, can help other organs.
Okay, so what you did, Danielle, you've obviously done a lot of research, is you've fallen into the trap of reading from the slide. Okay? And it's a trap we all fall into, especially when we're overwhelmed with information. You you only put key points on slides. And then you have in your notes all that, and you talk about it. That's how you don't just talk to the slide. Okay, does that make sense?
Say no to the embryo.
I feel like other groups always shoot the practice.
Yeah, the other groups had as well. I just pointed this out this one. The very first group had this point as well. Anything else?
Any other slides you want to see?
I thought you guys did a very good job with actually presenting yourself. Could have done with the practice, but that was the same for everybody. Okay, good job. Thank you. Can you send me?